with John, and how's everybody doing?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah. So John, last week you left us hanging. It's been a little while. What happened with the rest of your encounter up there? In is it Big Sur? Big Sur. Yeah.
Yeah, up at the Pfeiffer Burns National Park up there. So, just kind of wanted, to reconnect with you guys and kind of give you the the cliffhanger into the experience that I had. And I guess I'll just kind of move right into it. What do you think?
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. We're dying to hear it. I've heard it before, but I love hearing it again.
Yeah. So
Especially the park
basically, I
ranger
think we
part.
kind of left off at where I was coming out of the bungalow, the cabin we were staying at there at the park near the lodge, and had that just that experience before. Came down to the bottom of the landing, and the Squatch, 110% sure that that's what it was, let out this blood curdling, hit you to the core growl. Something like I know we talked about it. It's really hard to explain unless you've actually gone through it, but the reports of what everybody says that it sounds like that it hits you straight in the gut and to the core was definitely part of my experience.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I did some research, and after you were talking about last time about that blood curdling scream, there was several people that have reported that very thing. And I remember this when we talked about it way back, but it all came back again that it sounds like a woman having a baby, or to put it blunt, that's like how some people described it. And as soon as I was like, man, that's exactly what John heard. And I think I don't know, I'll have to see if I can pull it up there. I think some people captured that scream, and I'll play it here. I'll edit the video so everyone can hear it. But go ahead, John. Keep going.
But no, we'll definitely put that into the loop, because I know we've come across like Desert Sasquatch's research, and he has a scream on his video where it really, that was the first time. It sent chills down my spine when I heard that episode that he had a very similar experience, because although it was muffled because he's out on his GoPro and it was kind of muffled, but it sounded very, very similar to what I experienced. That video sent chills to my spine because it was very to what I heard.
Right.
So maybe we could set a link to that for you guys to see and give us your thoughts and what you think down below. But yeah, very, 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 very similar to what you're describing. It's hard to explain where there's such a deep guttural feeling. Get out of here! You're in my way. Shouldn't be here right now on the screen. So I know that kind of just begs the question for me: is there's a lot of different research on Sasquatch intent and how they move within groups and different locations. More of an aggressive in nature experience. And I know we've talked in the past about the differences in locations and maybe subgroups. And
it's interesting to say that because SCSO channel just did a thing on SoCal Desert Sasquatch, and I'll post the link here too. This man, and the name is escaping me. His name is Doug. He went through a series of sightings, but bottom line, he surmised his video that the Southern California Sasquatches, Desert Sasquatch specifically, or kind of southern part of the state, are more prone to act differently. He put it another way, but they're a little more. I don't want to say aggressive, but they're more. They'll probably present themselves. Their behavior's a little more aggressive. They do things like bend signs. They'll tap on cabin walls like they did up there. Things of that nature. But don't forget to include, John, I always say this, is what did the park ranger tell you? Everyone needs to hear that.
Yeah, so and that's right. I think that whatever kind of personality you run into, it's really interesting, and we'll talk more about that at a later time. But so I had this experience. I ran away, couldn't get away fast enough, got to my parents at the pool, and they said they heard something, but it wasn't nearly what I heard. And here again, that gets you to the thoughts and research we've been doing about mind speak. But we'll say that for another time, because I was up all night just trying to wrap my brain around what I had experienced. And I really couldn't sleep that night because everything that went bump outside from that point on was just scared the daylights out of me. But waking up that morning, and my parents could see that I was just bothered by the whole thing. They weren't quite sure what was going on, but we got up the next morning and were checking out of the lodge and had breakfast. And I had a ranger that I saw there in the kind of the checkout area, at the desk, and said, you know what, I'm just going to work up the courage to go talk to this guy. And I know we talked about in the past, it wasn't really I didn't have Sasquatch on my radar at that point, being 16 or 17. I'd heard about it, but hadn't really thought about it for this experience. And went up to him and said, you know what, I had something that happened to me last night, and I just need to ask you, do mountain lions or bears, I heard a scream. Do mountain lions or bears make the sound of somebody like they're just being, like having a baby or like being injured? Like what, it sounded like a woman having a baby. And he goes, no, you didn't hear a bear or a mountain lion. That was probably a Sasquatch. And I froze. I had no words, okay, Sasquatch, that's great. And then asked him again, well, what could have made that sound? He's like, no, that's pretty normal around here. And that's probably what it was. And I didn't have any words for it. I just kind of turned around and said, okay, thanks.
That's,
have a good day.
Did he just kind of said it matter-of-factly, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't even like a joke or, I was thinking back over the experience and thinking about that interaction with that ranger, and he wasn't jokingly like, trying to pull my leg or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, just a matter of fact, like, yeah, probably was a Sasquatch, no big deal. And to me, it was one of the most frightening experiences that I had as a young, a teenager, adolescent, just in high school, and coming out of high school.
Right.
It was a big deal to me. So I it was one of those things to where he was matter of fact about it, no big deal. And I was trying my best to stay, to wrap my brain around it. And that really kind of where I got my bug for research and Sasquatch and things that are hard to explain. So
right. It makes sense.
It
makes sense now because, as Bigfoot and, Squatch has come more in the mainstream, I guess you could say. It's still getting there, but anyhow, there's I heard recently that Salt Creek State Park up there in Ohio? I think it is.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yes.
Well, they now admit that there's Squatches in their park, just carte blanche across the board.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so now it makes sense. This guy was kind of ahead of his time because normally a ranger, I haven't experienced, but they'll tell people when they have an encounter, they'll say it was a bear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's something that to take it down that avenue, they're definitely, from what we've done as research, you and I, we definitely know that they typically deflect any type of Bigfoot explanation. They don't go there. For long story short,
right.
They'll, like you said, say, oh, it was an elk or it was a a bear or a mountain lion. So you're right, and that's kind of what made this encounter with this ranger different from what I've heard of other folks going to the authorities as well. So
right. Well, thanks for sharing that, and that kind of leads into our next topic of, this is really kind of a Bigfoot topic this time around, this section, I guess you could say, or episode. There's a woman in Crestline, and John, I think you might have found this story originally, and I think we might have touched on it last time, but
yes,
that she claims she saw a family of Bigfoot it's the San Bernardino mountain chain fairly recently. I think it was 2016 or 17. I think it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I believe October of last year, which would have been 2017. Yep.
Yep. And we've included in our Bigfoot news playlist, and we'll include the link down below. But what is interesting about this story, um, she has some video. It's not super clear, and you can judge for yourself. Please comment below. But John, what's your thoughts? Because she's now suing the state of California to prove because they're denying or they're not admitting that Bigfoot's real, and this trial's going to start, I think, this month.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I know we'll post the link below, but it's in a majority of local newspapers down here, and I know the one that the article I saw it in was in the Press Enterprise. So, and that's a Riverside County publication, and really, really interesting. This lady's gone to the point of suing the state of California, which that's a huge thing. It's one thing to have an experience and share it with like-minded individuals, but now this lady's taking it on to the state, which is pretty incredible. And I know that we probably want to touch on too the fact that she's in kind of, for lack of better words, in cahoots with Todd Standing,
right?
And that lends a lot of credence to the fact that they're working together and have had similar experiences. Mm-hmm. A lot of people kind of look at Todd as kind of a whack job, but I think there's a lot of truth to what he has to say, and to what extent, I mean, you can decide for yourself, but I think there's something to it, and especially the fact that his experience is he's backing this lady up and taking it to the state, and I find that very interesting.
It is very interesting, and he has Dr. Meldrum, I think his name is, from Idaho State, is it?
Yep.
Yep. He's the professor that does all the casts, and he's kind of like, everybody knows him. He's the go-to guy for Bigfoot. If there's a question, especially with the footprint or whatever. But there is actually, John found this Netflix movie, which there's parts of it, it's the old footage of Bigfoot. It looks, to me, the initial, and this is what I think kind of runs everybody off from it all, is that Bigfoot picture he shows looks like a too perfect thing. But then he shows some other ones that like they look pretty legit. That's the thing. So it's it is what it is. But we'll see how this lawsuit goes out, and we'll continue to bring it up. It's interesting just that there's someone's actually suing the state over this, but something good might come of it to the Bigfoot community, hopefully.
I think so too. It's whether it's a publicity stunt or whether it's legit. We'll find. I mean, it'll be fun to follow it to see, because that really, to me, also will lend a lot of legitimacy to Todd Standing and or not.
True.
In my mind, and that's exciting, because, and here again, even though some of the stuff in the video, you're just like, I think everybody has to decide for themselves what they believe and what they do not watching this video, and just with Sasquatch in general. But I think the fact that these two, this gal from Crestline and Todd Standing are actually taking on a governmental, state legislator it's pretty impressive, and just fun to see the outcome. So that's, let us know what you guys think.
Yep. Excellent. The next story we got comes out of Canada, and it's some footage. I'll go. It essentially, it's kind of walking through the forest. I think there is some video attached to, people. It's more than anything, it's just more current event that happened that is probably, it's leaning towards looking legitimate, and especially in Canada, again, that's. You get out in some of those remote areas, it's definitely a possibility you could see one. And definitely, if you have your camera at the ready, like these folks did, you're able to get a pretty good clip.
Well, that kind of goes back to the Les Stroud Survivor Man stuff,
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting. I'm really looking forward to watching that clip.
Yeah. Again, that's in the playlist. People can comment below. And to me, it does look legit. I don't think this would be too hard to Photoshop anything like this. Just kind of the way it's blended together. I mean, I'm excited to hear that. I think I sent you that Thunker is back. And
yes, I'm excited to get back into his research as well.
Yeah, and just to kind of hear, his thoughts on something like this, to see. He actually broke down, and I don't know if I included it here. I think I sent it to you. With some footage from which I think is a great organization, Rocky Mountain Sasquatch.
Oh, yeah, those guys are great.
Yeah, and he broke down some footage. I don't know if you saw this, John, but Thunker just recently did, where they got out of the car, the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch people did, and they were going up to like a berry bush or something. They thought they saw something. They got on the other side of this bush. Well, they got some footage of the Squatch basically bending down the bush, and yes. I think the car camera picked it up.
Yeah, that cam. Yeah.
Yeah. So you saw that one?
I did, and that was the way they do their filming and their episodes are pretty cool, because it's just they're not looking to go, they're just there to be there, and they happen to come across once in a lifetime type of thing where you can watch this video and make your own your own decisions on it. But man, they had some great footage where it looked like it was peeking over the top of a very large berry bush. And you said we'll leave a link below to that, because it's just an incredible footage to watch.
It is. And these people, I can't remember his name. Gosh, I've seen enough of his videos. I should remember it. It's my old age.
That makes two of us.
Yeah. But this guy, I mean, they've tried so hard, and now they are in an area called Sasquatch Canyon. So, I mean, they're in the right place to see one, if they're going to see one, even though I don't think he realized, obviously he didn't, how close he was to it, but it's pretty good footage, and to see it broke down like that, I'm really glad for, I guess more than anything, for the RSMO team, that they finally got something on film that looks pretty legit. So that's big news, and I think that was pretty recent too. So
yeah, no, I agree, and it's nice to see somebody with similar mindset in the community and intentions, that they're if you're out there doing what you do, eventually there's a high probability that you're going to catch something that just blows your mind. So
right. Well put.
Hey guys, we're done for the day. Just excited to be back with episode 2 here, and reaching out to you guys, and leave your comments down below. We'll be back shortly with the latest happenings. We're looking into the recent SpaceX launch and different unidentified objects that are out in the news lately. Lots of stuff going on, so we're excited to be back with you guys shortly, and you take care.
Yep. Thanks, John. Yeah. Hey, guys, our next episode will be on UFOs. And John, I forgot to share with you, and I'll have it ready for the audience next time. There was a formation of 3 big, I think they were the C5 or C141 starlifters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that I haven't, because I live near Air Force Base, and you know that, John, and I saw. Yep. I've watched a lot of these things. I've sent you footage, but I haven't seen 3 stacked up like that. And I got some footage of it, and I'll include that next time, guys. We can look forward to it. I want to see what John has to say about that.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a lot to look forward to, because I've kind of been out of the loop the last couple days. But yeah, we look forward to going over that with you guys, and just stay safe, and we'll catch you all next time.
See you guys. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.